Hey, hello everyone. Good afternoon, morning. How hopefully everybody's doing well. Bar my voice, I have just gotten out of bed. But I'm here to see a apparently a very interesting game from very interesting competitors. So I'm really excited to potentially see whatever goes on. Um, so I'm looking at this and I'm actually kind of surprised to see no Uxie from Korvax end. I think Tusk can be quite a problem. I look at Tusk here and besides like quote unquote Corviknight that still gets 2 KO'd by like offensive Tusk in some cases, like Tusk kind of has a field day against this team. However, like despite that, like people and their creativity and their teams, like it's not really about what's on the table, it's how they use the cards that they're dealt. So I'm really excited to see how Korvax uh, can handle Tusk and its offense here. I think from Korvax's end, I think Polt looks great. I think Polt is a great way to force in Sylveon. And I'm very interested to see what they do with that bait in terms of that as well. Just yeah, yeah. I'm actually really happy that you pointed that out because at first glance, I looked at Tusk and I think Tusk looks great offensively. And then there's a whole Greninja right there that can. I'm looking at the opponent's team, and if there's not maybe a potential like Scarf Pole, which could be a potential bring here as well, and like Scarf Pivot Pole and things like that, like late game Grin can be a problem. Like obviously, like on paper, there's like E speed, like Entei, there's like bulky stoys, but besides that, like a potential in game Greninja could be a problem. This is interesting. I mean, Stormbound might just be a like I could see like a U-turn turn one, or like a hazards lead. But as we saw, I think they clicked U-turn. And I think if Korvax can like maybe get off a slow flip turn here, I think they're in an advantageous position. Yeah, gotta love the pivot leads. I look at this. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Yes. I'm just curious to see what Korvax does with that information. Like, I think even with the -1 or the intimidate, like Ivy Cudgel's still going to do some solid damage. It'll also be nice to chip down Overquill for potential like pull maybe in game later on or things like that. But I'm curious to see if they just do that or if they're like a spikes variant, if they want to get a spike up. I think Spikes is great early game. I think Tusk can remove pretty easily, but I think getting that residual damage could be nice, and also just to scout boots on items as well.
Yeah, and Overkill can switch in maybe once or twice, but That's
Yeah,
an Ogreborn Cornerstone. It's gonna hit for at least a third of HP, I guess.
yeah.
More
Or crit.
with a crit.
Jesus. RNG has hit its mark, turn 3. All right, we have a crit, Ivy Cudgel. I mean, granted, it's a increased chance, but you have a crit off Ivy Cudgel. I still think this isn't entirely bad for Stormbound, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're in a bit of a pickle here.
If that's like a Toxic Spikes overquill, then I think things are about to get a little bit dicey in terms of Korvax. I don't see a grounded poison on the other end. So it's kind of really going to be affecting everything long term. Obviously, I'm making the assumption that their stories is maybe like boots, and if they're flip turn, they're probably like rapid spin. They actually don't really get spin blocked all that well, funny enough. So maybe like long term wise, it won't be that effective, but toxic spikes could prove to be a little bit annoying early
Yeah.
game.
On another hand, I think Corviner can just switch in here and defog.
That is also possible.
Yeah.
The biggest concern with that is like maybe like aggressive Heatran or like aggressive even Sarah Ledge as well. But it all really depends on what they have per se. But yeah, I mean, Corv there aren't really any hazards on either side, so Corv can get off that defog pretty reliably.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is kind of a awkward situation. I think more for Stormbound, if anything, because of that crit.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I guess the Corvinet play could be a little passive and allow Stormbound to reposition. But I guess that's what Korvax is going for. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we see that the Overquill went for P-Jab, probably to break a potential sturdy if they stand, which is valid. But yeah, the Corv comes in for free, and now I think Korvax is in a great position to gain momentum, honestly, because I think a lot of what Stormbound has in the back, Corv doesn't really want to sit in front of. Outside of like obviously Sylveon, but I mean Sylveon doesn't want to sit in front of a Corv anyway. That's like turn 4, you don't know what it has, so Corvax can get that free momentum if they want it. But yeah, I still think Stormbound is in a pretty awkward situation, and I think the Corv pivot made it a little bit more awkward.
Okay. Now I thought about this. I thought Korvax would pivot out and Stormbound would take the chance to set up some hazards, but we can see Entei's heavy duty boots. So
Yeah, and I mean that's great information for Stormbound now. That he honestly, I guess, wouldn't have gotten without getting that spike up. So, not banded, which I think banded would be a little awkward here, admittedly, between like I think the Sarah Ledge gets flash fire. I
it
might be
it
wrong on
does.
that.
No, it does. It does. It does.
But between like that and like Heatran and everything else, like that could be a little awkward. But we do see an eruption, and we see a citrus berry. Shout out J Ricky. Citrus berries in tech. But we have a citrus berry great tusk avoiding that to a KO now. So now Korvax has to play around that potential tusk. But I think he could get some information off of that eruption as well.
Yeah, that's gonna depend on how that tusk is built. But for Stormbound, that's a very good information on how offensive that Entei is really.
Yeah, I mean, but I think Stormbound is just trying to find a way to get offensive positioning, and I think that was his way to. I'm very curious to see what the mid to late game is going to look like, because right now it's looking a little awkward, but it's not looking like there's anything in favor of anyone. Like, I mean, Stormbound got that spike up, which is great for info. And then now you get the information that Corva's helmet and you knock that off. But now I still think Korvax is in a situation where they're probably going to want to accept the slow pivot instead of defogging, because I think that potential option for Stormbound, especially because they're on the back foot right now, is too risky
Yeah,
for sure.
Stormbound has been very successful collecting as much information as they can.
100%.
and Corviknight can be a little passive with the need of removing hazards. So I would say the slow pivot as well.
But they opt to defog, meaning that Stormbound gets the free offensive positioning into Terastallized.
Yeah.
So I'm actually curious to see how Stormbound uses this to their advantage, especially because if they are Poltergeist, that is not really a middle ground play because he clicked knockoff earlier with the Tusk. So I'm actually very curious to see how Stormbound uses this to their advantage.
Yeah, maybe I was looking at Korvax's Pokemon. Maybe a Crocodile wants to switch in and possibly intimidate. I don't see
Yeah.
Blastoise doing it. I'm still hell bent on Blastoise checking Greninja.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I think Crook might just have to take that quote unquote L and take that chip and be that mediator because I think, wow, that's a lot of damage. I think Blastoise is too important for Gren here. I agree with you there. Is that banded? So much.
Deck, deck. I'm
No, that makes
hesitant to
sense.
say so because I guess it will depend on Crook. But if I had to guess, it's at least a boosting item. Maybe
Yeah,
charcoal
that's
or
definitely,
you know.
yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of damage off -1 for sure. Either that or like maybe Crook is more offensive, which actually doesn't surprise me here either. Which speaking of, I think Earthquake is such a free play. There's no immunity, there's no resist. Like you just click a button. But they opt to click knockoff.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. Earthquake would have been would have been free. I guess Corvax is trying to scout for some info and get rid of some potential berries.
So yeah, like I think the only reason why I could see that knockoff play is maybe to cover for like air balloon Heatran aggro pivot. But other than that, I mean, I think Earthquake was just so free. Like they just like honestly, if Korvax could keep getting Crook in, like on advantageous positions, Earthquake is just so spammable. But I'm also curious to see how Korvax uses this Tusk pivot now. Now that he like click knockoff there, it's probably going to be a Corv pivot, but I'm just curious how he operates with this.
Yeah,
Early game has been very back and forth for sure.
yeah. Stormbound seems to be using the Tusk as more of a defensive pivot and not as much as an offensive threat, I guess. They must be reserving those rules for Greninja and Cerulege.
Yeah.
Oh,
But we see a grass knot come off from Crook. Holy crap. I did not know that they got grass knot. Holy. All right. Okay. Wait.
well,
That's interesting.
yeah, Orange called it out on the chat that Crook had grass now.
That's interesting. So now, like, now that I see grass knot, now I'm really curious why he's like knockoff there. Because I think Earthquake is a grass knot would have got that KO, meaning that rocks wouldn't have been up. So I'm gonna mark that as a question. I need to know. I need to know the thought process there. But yeah, we see a grass knot. Didn't quite kill, but Stormbound got his rocks up, which I think is still great for him. Even though Insei's revealed boots, I want to say Soy's is also boots, but we don't know that for sure. Still keeping that Ogerpon corner out, forcing a potential defogger spin before it comes in because it's sturdy. I think is still great for Stormbound, and I think that's a smart play
Yeah.
from them.
Corvax has used boots on Ogerpon before, so that's an option as well.
Oh no, with the cornerstone, you have to have the mask. So
Oh yeah,
you can't.
yeah.
It's teal. Teal you can. Teal's the only one you can hold items with.
Yeah, you're right. Where did I do that from? Well, I use Steel in my Wi-Fi teams. Okay.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
probably.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, he's used teal. So I think you got rocks up there. I think Storm just didn't want to kill the Crook. I think he wants positioning with Gren. I think that's the only reason why, which is kind of smart. But we reveal helmet on the Crook, so I think it's more of a, well, it's gone now, but I think it's more of a defensive Crook, meaning that Sarah Ledge is definitely like boosting item or something that Bitterblade did way too much damage.
Yeah,
But we see Grin come in, that free pivot, that's what he wanted. I'm really curious on that knock play. I'm so, wow, I'm still getting over it. Wow, I'm so curious. I need to know. Okay, but yeah, we see Greg come in. I think Korvax is in an interesting spot. I don't think he's in a terrible one, but I think he's in an interesting spot. I think Blastoise is the obvious pivot here. We get to get information on if it's like boots, or if it's not boots, then it's maybe probably like AV or something. Or he might just sack Crook, which I don't think is unheard of, but I kind of like Crook here into like Sarah Ledge, Heatran, Overquill, even Sylveon too, forcing that Earthquake chip on it as well,
yeah,
if it even has it.
yeah. But if they want to use Crook to as a switch-in again, they're gonna have to clean those hazards.
Yeah, for sure, because I think they're after rocks, they're in a Bitterblade range, so they have to clear those hazards before it could come in on potentially Sarah Ledge again.
So I guess it's Blastoise. I agree with you. Blastoise is the obvious switch in here.
I mean, either that or like they sack, which I don't think is unheard. I think Grid. Well, I mean, it's U-turn, so it's. Did it reveal Protean?
No, they didn't reveal the ability yet.
Oh, so they're Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's
so,
the dangerous of sacking here.
Yeah, they can't sack Crook here, because I think if they sack Crook here, then they're in a really bad spot, especially because rocks are up, so Ogre Corner Sturdy's gonna be gone. Yeah, I think they need to make that Stoise pivot. But I'm curious how Stormbound uses this to their advantage. They might U-turn. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
it's totally Battle Bond. No protein activation.
Stoise took rocks, so they might be oh no, they're leftovers. Sorry, I'm a little slow. Oops, there it is.
Well, I thought Ogre Cornerstone could have an item, so.
It's so real. Okay, they spin the rocks away, which I mean, they still have other ways to. This Heatran is probably offensive. Like, this Heatran's not come in. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like a Scarf Eruption kind of Heatran, or like some sort of offensive variant. That thing is refusing to come in. But we do see a Yawn into Wish come out.
Yeah.
Forcing that Stoise out. Hard switching, not flip turning is smart. They could be protect, so that's a smart play by them. They go into here, and now that Sylveon wants to be gone. Now the thing is, I guess they can go Sarah Ledge here, but if they're not boots, that's still gonna hurt. Yeah, okay, they don't. And then Yawn here.
Another Yawn comes out.
Yep. I think they had to make that Stomping Tantrum play, otherwise you give them Flash Fire potentially. So honestly, that's a good 50-50 risk reward play by Stormbound there, because I think it was forced. But now I think Stormbound's in a position where, I mean, if they want to, they can make a call on a play. Like, they can maybe even still go Sarah Ledge here on this turn. Because I mean, the risk reward is if they stay in and Stomping Tantrum, you take a lot, you maybe die, but now the Entei's asleep. Or if you switch out, you can still get that offensive positioning as well on something that comes in, which is opts to be Ogre Corner, which is definitely what I was not expecting.
Yeah, I thought about it, because they need to pressure that Sylveon. If that thing keeps on yawning and wishing. Oh, it's Leech Seed Pokemon. I did warn you about Korvax.
That's interesting. Okay, all right. Leech Seed. Okay, but the Baton Pass will trade over the Leech Seed too. So
yeah.
This is okay. All right.
I did warn you about Korvax.
Yeah, this is, I mean, hey man, I don't hate it.
No, it makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, it does. I'm so excited for this coach interview. I have so many questions. So exciting. But yeah, okay, so we kind of have seen this interaction before. Honestly, like, this would have been the HP Overcoat would have been at, besides the crit. So the fact that they managed to get it back up there is I'm happy for Storm, because now I mean Tusk aside, like we're kind of back to like turn 5. So,
Yeah,
but we do see a U-turn. Corv comes in. They get a spike up now. Yes, I agree with that play. Um,
yeah.
and
They
then now we're back in like turn 6.
without us, they have no way of removing their own hazards. So
Yeah,
pressing
yeah.
Korvax to do it for them, it's the better option. I agree.
Yeah, now I think Korvax may opt to just click U-turn here, which I still think, even regardless, like turn 6 wasn't a bad play. Like, I think clicking the U-turn here, you don't want to defog your rocks away, even though I think you could maybe set them up again. I don't think you want to defog the rocks away. It's great for Sarah Ledge, scouting an item, to see if their boots like adamant,
Yeah,
and it's still great for chip regardless too. So,
and
and
you can always
so.
try and position Blastoise to rapid spin anyway.
Yes. So they're not boots. Okay, so they are a boosting item of some sort. And they're weak armor. Okay, that's good information.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe in the bend as an item.
Yeah.
That switching was very purposeful on Unbound's end. They wanted.
Yes, they wanted that. They did. Stormbound actually is not in a bad spot because I think Sarah Ledge puts on a lot of pressure. Like, honestly, I think Sarah Ledge goes 1-0 here on something. Maybe except like Cornerstone. But other than that, depending on what it is, I think it goes 1-0. Like if they bring in Crookets in range, Polt comes in here, which is intriguing. That might be a Scarf Polt,
Yeah,
actually. Or
yeah.
they might be scaring it out. I mean, Sneak could be possible too, but from Stormbound side. But yeah, that might be a Scarf Polt.
I was thinking about that. It's probably a Scarf Bolt, or they're trying to intimidate Stormbound into switching out.
Yeah. With Scarf Pole, I think I called at the very beginning. Like Scarf Pole makes a lot of sense if they are that for that Battle Bond Greninja like revenge, like makes perfect sense here. And I think even like with like Polt here between Sylveon and like Overkill, you're probably gonna be clicking U-turn a lot anyway. So Scarf Pole, if they are, that makes a lot of sense. They could maybe be Kasib as well.
Yeah,
Kasib is also a possibility.
but they would have to have a lot of bulk to tank a Poltergeist, even with Kasib.
Yes, that is the downside to that too. Yeah. I'm curious to see. What is this play? I mean, I think Stormbound, I think always has the safe position into Sylveon. Or maybe even over. How healthy is Overkill? It can maybe go Overkill, but I think Sylveon's a lot
It's
safer.
about 50%, I think.
Yeah, nah, I think Sylveon's definitely the safer option. And I think Korvax is in I have to click X move kind of mode right now. Like if they don't respect the Sarah Ledge, something is dying. So Storm can maybe use that to their advantage. But I'm just curious to see what happens here because I think that either he's bluffing, Korvax is bluffing real good, or Storm might have to just accept that his offensive positioning he has to give up.
Yeah, I think Stormbound has to respect Bolt here. There's a lot of
Yeah,
ways this can go wrong for him,
yeah,
and
100%.
I think Korvax knows that. So I think I'm calling bluff here.
This is interesting. Yeah, it's not even like Sarah Ledge is out of range of like a Draco or like a middle ground. Well, honestly, I mean, I think Corvax's like middle ground, quote unquote, is clicking U-turn. Funny enough, but I think he can't click U-turn here. I think he has to click Shadow Ball, or something along those sorts.
Yeah,
Yeah, Shadow
they
Ball comes off. Yeah, and now I mean, Stormbound can potentially maybe make a yawn play for that. I don't think anything's asleep right now, so for that like Corviknight play, if they come in, they can maybe on it, they could slow baton pass as well. I think Storm is definitely in an advantageous position here because that pull was forced in
yeah.
at a time that they didn't want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, Korvax is certainly on the back foot a little,
Yeah.
and Stormbound is maintaining momentum. Something is about to break soon. The game will
Yeah, this is
unravel soon.
Yeah, this is interesting actually, because I mean, Korvax has already revealed that they are. Oh,
Oh, it's
oh
mixed.
wow,
It's mixed.
it's mixed. It's mixed. It actually makes sense.
Okay. So
Okay.
now, well, we know that makes sense. Cerro Edge is not flash fire, so
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say like it's a.
they're
Go
trying
ahead,
to
sorry.
force Citron in,
Mm-hmm.
or scout for that at least.
Yeah. But
Prob-
now, I mean, I think Stormbound is just like free to honestly low key do not whatever he wants, but pretty much. I mean, he could stay in, he could wish again if he wants to. He could baton pass and get a free pivot if he wants to, because I think Stoys outpaces the Sylveon unless it's like no speed Stoys. So he would still get the slow pivot anyway. Yeah, I mean, Stormbound's kind of free to do whatever they want there. I think that the Insane play, I was going to say before they made the play, like, I think Storm is in an interesting spot because now Korvax knows that Sarah Ledge isn't Flash Fire, and that Heatran is staying in the back for freaking ages. So
yeah,
I don't think they want to risk a stopping Titch and play on either. So it was a weird position for Storm, but I think he played that okay. But now Storm is free to click pretty much whatever he wants outside of maybe Hyper Voice. I think Hyper Voice will be the worst play here, but everything else I think is perfectly fine. They can triple yawn, they can wish, BP. I think all those plays are good.
yeah. I'd probably BP here, just because I don't think we know the speed tiers between Blastoise and Sylveon. So
Yeah,
Yon is may not be the optimal play here. But other than that, they can just wish again.
yeah, they can triple yawn. Um, I think BP. I like the BP play. My only like it's like a teeny little hiccup. Like if they are no speed like Stoys and they're like 31 speed Sylveon, like you're gonna get off that baton pass before that flip turn. But like that's so minor, and that's great info too, as well. But I mean, yeah, like Stormbound can do anything here. They can honestly do whatever they want. And I'm kind of curious to see what play they choose because I think all three plays are great here.
Yeah, and now they know Blastoise is faster than Sylveon.
Yep. So every time that yawn interaction happens again, they can now guarantee BP and add that to their arsenal too if they want to. But I think on Corvax's end, they will maybe try and opt to go Inte again. I think they want to try and put their offensive foot forward. But they opt to go Cornerstone and pop the Sturdy. Now they did reveal Leech Seed, so it can replenish. It can come back. But they do opt to go into quarter and pop that Sturdy.
Yeah, and Overcooked cannot switch in here anyway because of the rocks. I don't think it takes two IV cudgels and rocks damage. So this,
Yeah, actually, now that you pointed that out, I mean their overclose at 49%, so they're going to be at 37 at the end, and I think that is a good roll in Ogre's favor to just kill an Ivy Cudgel. Yeah, I think that thing is just dying. Let me see. Yeah, that thing is just dying.
yeah, Korvax just recovered a little momentum here. He's pressuring Stormbound now because nothing
Actually, I mean,
nothing really
go
wants to
ahead, sorry.
switch into an Ivy Cudgel right now.
Yeah. 100%. I was gonna say even if that overkill tries to come in because he did click wish and they don't get the Ivy Cudgel potential roll, like the overkill is gonna get back up to full, but it can't really pressure the ogre pod back. So you're kind of not really getting a lot off of that play. Like the most you get is an intimidate and maybe another spike.
Yeah,
So I'm curious to see what Storm decides to do here.
Overquill reveals Poison Jab though that can help pressure Ogrepon a little. No.
Yeah, it can. But like, I mean, Korvax has already shown that he is okay with making that Corv pivot. And at some point, I mean, if Overkill tries to keep using the Ogre Pod as spike spawner, eventually it'll die. But maybe Korvax will have to decide, do they want to defog those rocks away in exchange for getting rid of the spike pressure that Overquill's setting? Because I think if Overquill keeps pressuring with hazards, Korvax is going to be in a position where he might have to say, I have to give up my rocks here in order to get rid of these hazard stacks. Because I think it might prove to be pretty bad late game with that Greninja that's still in the back and Battle Bond. Maybe it's, do you think it's Specs Greninja with Battle Bond?
Uh,
That did nothing. Holy crap.
Yeah, we were misled by the crit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that did zero.
Specs.
What do you think? What do you think the Greninja is?
Yeah, I think Specs is it's a safe play because there's Crook and Corvi on the other side, so I personally wouldn't be banned. I being Battle Bond, there's no need for Scarf really, so I think Specs is a probable option there. That's what I would have done. At least makes sense to do that. If you get rid of Blastoise, nothing really wants to switch into Specs Greninja.
Yeah, like I can see Specs Dark Pulse as an in-game here, for sure. Their Dark Resist being Crook, I mean, A doesn't like Greninja in general, and B is weakened down too, so that could very well be possible. But I mean, the Leech Seed comes off, and we get some HP back. They do opt to just click Poison Jab, which I don't think is bad. But I mean, we're kind of in this. I feel like I'm getting deja vu. This happened like turn 5, and then it happened like 5 turns ago, and here we are. We're back. But like the status is always different. Like now, the Ogerpod is at 60, and the Overquill is very healthy. Because my God, that Ivy Cudgel did nothing. That is a Fizz Def Overquill if I've ever seen one.
Totally. But
only 5%.
Yeah, here comes the Heatran.
Oh, the Heatran's here! It made an appearance. This thing has to be like Scarf. I would put money on it. This thing has to be Scarf. It's some sort of offensive Heatran, like, or maybe, I mean, there were definitely moments Heatran could have came in, but I don't know. I think this thing is some sort of offensive variant, and I think they're finally trying to. This thing needs to start putting out damage and jumping the gun.
And you know what? It's not Flash Fire. It's not Flash Fire. It tried to burn Ogerpon on the way out. I think that was the angle. It's Flame Body. I think that was the angle.
So now that you point that out, he definitely tried to burn that, which means, I mean, Korvax could use that to his advantage, because now he knows maybe every time Intake comes in, there's a high probability that he could just click a Ruptured or Sacred Fire and not get punished whatsoever. And he opts to do that now. Okay, which I actually don't hate, because if this thing's like Scarf, then he's locked into Flamethrower. It's not doing a lot. And if it's like Shuka, I mean, I really doubt it. I think that thing's Scarf. Like, something about this is just rigging.
With the way Stormbound played it, I would bet on Scarf as well. It was in the back until now, and could have come in like 3 times at least.
Yeah, I think that thing's Scarf Eruption. Yeah.
Misery is pointing out in the chat that Korvax had the Greninja to try and wall. Had a Toxicroak to try and wall Greninja, but I don't think Toxicroak can wall Greninja.
No, Grin gets extra sensory. It's only a matter of if Stormbound respects it or not. Which, honestly, he might not have. I wouldn't have if I was Stormbound. I wouldn't have respected a Toxicroak. So that it might have put in more work than thought of. But even like between, like, they have a Tusk, they have even an Overquill that can come in. Obviously, its dual stabs aren't going to do a lot. It's quote unquote walled by Croak, but it gets free hazards that way too. Yeah. So, but yeah, that would be an interesting angle if Korvax brought Toxicroak.
But Korvax brought Toxicroak several times over their run on the league. Yeah.
I think I have seen that actually. I think I have seen a Toxicroak from Korvax before
Yeah, yeah,
when I was watching. I don't know if it was top 16 or top 8, but I think he did bring Toxicroak into a matchup.
yeah. I think I
Also,
but
wait, I'm seeing. Wait, Heatran lost Eruption. Are we serial? Okay, whatever. yeah,
Ethan lost eruption
they're saying Heatran lost Eruption.
for real.
Yes, I'm what? Okay, so not only did Heatran lose Toxic and lost Eruption. Okay, the two things that makes it great. Awesome.
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so
Well,
they opt to flamethrower. They are Scarf.
what? They were baited. We're all baited.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
thing is flash fire. So maybe you know what? Maybe Stormbound was like, "F this. This thing needs to come in and now." It was just like, "I'm using this as an opportunity." But they
yeah,
do reveal Scarf, like we thought. That
yeah,
thing was definitely like that thing screaming Scarf.
yeah. They went
But I
first.
mean, you know,
They went first, then Entei. So I don't think that
mhm.
Entei is. It's invested in speed most likely. So Etron is Scar for sure. But
Yeah,
it's not Flame Body. That was a nice fluff.
yeah, no, definitely.
Ooh,
Oh my
and the
goodness, the
crit.
crit.
And the
Now,
crit. Okay.
now, I think the crit matters, but not for the sense of Sylveon dying. I think Sylveon was always gonna die.
Yeah.
However, you know, now there could have been a potential like aggro like Heatran or another like Flash Fire attempt because I don't think Stomping Tantrum was doing a lot. And then from there, there's Scarf, and like now Korvax might have to potentially risk an Earth Power between like Earth Power and Flamethrower because I think Heatran still has Earth Power, right? Heatran didn't lose Earth Power. Yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah.
It still has its
I,
power.
I
I hope.
Shoot, it lost Eruption and Toxic. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, like, yeah, like, you know, so. But I don't think the crit matters in terms of Sylveon dying. I just think it makes like 50-50s on Corvex and not really existent anymore. Oh, you know. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe the crit didn't matter because Stomping Tantrum, if a move fails, it doubles in power. I forgot about that interaction. Yeah, maybe it didn't. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stomping Tantrum into another would have killed. Yeah.
Sacred Fire failed because of Flash Fire, so stopping Tantrum was hitting Sylveon very hard. Either way.
Oh, now honestly, I like the Secret Fire play a lot more now on the Heatran because actually, like, if it fails, you get that guaranteed double power anyway on a potential 50-50. And if it doesn't fail, you're still getting a lot of damage on Heatran too. So actually, yeah, that was a really good play.
Damn.
That was a good play.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know what to expect anymore.
I'm still asking about that knockoff play though.
Yeah,
That's definitely still gonna be a question. But that was excellent. I like that. That was good. Stormbound, I think, is in a pretty rough spot. I think they have to force the grid angle here.
yeah,
Otherwise,
they have
it
to pressure this Entei.
will. If they are Scarf Pull, then honestly, if they can get a little bit more chip on Overquill and a little bit more chip on Gren, Shadow Ball might just clean. Honestly. So it's looking at, but I think Stormbound, honestly, like, I think they might have to, if Gren gets a battle bond, they have to save it. Like, or not save the battle bond, save Greninja. Like,
Yeah.
they might have to, I wouldn't be surprised if I see them switch out after getting battle bond, because I think Gren is really their only angle to winning this game, especially if Polt is Scarf. I mean, Heatran gets Dragon Pulse, but now that we know that it's Scarf Heatran, like, I think Korvax can kind of sort of pick and choose how he wants to deal with it in terms of switch-ins. So I'm really curious to see how Stormbound can potentially come back because they are definitely on the back foot right now. Okay, so Korvax decides to sack. Dark Pulse doesn't kill! Oh no!
Wait,
Oh, that's so bad! Oh.
wait, is Entei faster that Greninja?
Well, it clicked E-Speed. It clicked
Oh, he
E-Speed.
clicked.
So the
Okay,
priority
okay.
bracket is always there. Yeah. E-Speed goes before everything.
No, I noticed the damage, but I didn't see the move, so I was very confused now.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Wait. Yeah. Dark Pulse didn't kill. Maybe they. This might honestly be GG. Low key.
Yeah, that took 42%. It's in range. Range is in range.
Yeah. It's in range of another one. And like, yes, you could maybe go Sarah Ledge, but Sarah Ledge, you're taking 25%. And then like Grin is still weakened. Like Shadow Ball Angle is it's very, very possible now. Like Grid is weakened down enough. All Korvax needs, if they are Scarf Pole, is to weaken down that Overkill. And that's very easy. Well, not easy, quote unquote, but we already seen the quarter bait in the Overkill 24/7. So if they're able to maybe get a leech sheet off on it and Ivy Cudgel a couple times, then that can be chipped down Overkill as well for that Scarf Grid angle. If they are not Scarf Grid, Scarf Pole angle, if they are even Scarf.
Yeah, and especially with the rocks
I'm
in.
saying all this like they are actually confirmed Scarf Pole, but I really think they are. Or if they bluffed it really good against Sarah Ledge, then hats off. I think it just makes a lot of sense on the prep angle of the matchup. So they opt to go Overquill.
Oh,
Ah,
here's the chip. Here's the chip we've been talking about.
that's yeah, like that. That's they're just enabling. Like this is honestly, this is all riding on if they are scarf. If they're Scarf Pole, I think they just win at this point. Obviously, give like 30% or like 40% on Heatran. Obviously, not immediately. They can't just go pull and just click Shadow Ball, win the game. But like, obviously, a couple things here and there, they can now chip down that Heatran, like slash off 30-40%. Then I think it's very, very possible for them to clean up with Scarf Pull for sure.
Yeah,
Corbin, I like that play. Yes.
but I don't. What is Korvax gonna do now? Because they don't want to let that overkill in on the field
Yeah,
getting health back.
this is a little tricky.
Oh, wow, okay, okay.
They opted Brave Bird, which I mean I don't hate. Oh wow, okay, they spike. Okay, all right. So the Overquill's down. Now, if I want to predict anything, I think the Heatran is coming in
Yeah, I
because
think
I think
the,
Stormbound's out is if they're not Scarf pulled. If they're not Scarf, if I'm looking at this from Stormbound's end, they need to
I know.
tip down that stories a little more.
I think I know their angle. I think they're playing 4 bents Shadow Sneaks early.
Oh, that could also be possible too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah. You know what? That could be a way for them to win too. That's actually a better way potentially if they are
yeah,
like banded sneak. That is a good and valid way to win this game.
yeah. Orange on
If
the
they could chip
orange
down,
in the
yeah.
chat thinks the same. They just said, "Watch out for Cerulege."
Yeah. I mean, if it is a banded sneak angle, then that could be game changing, honestly. But I think even between Grid and Sarah, let's just still think the same thing applies. Like I think they need to force chip on that Stoys. Because either angle it needs that. And they might need a teeny bit more chip on Cornerstone. And if they can get that, then a potential sneak angle could be possible. And obviously chip down Corv, but that 50-50 between Bitterblade and Sneak will be a little bit annoying come mid-late game for Corv. So
But
I think,
I do like this play though, because
yes,
Stormbound
yes.
is recovering some of that health either way. Doesn't really matter
Yeah,
If Corby stays or switches out. They're getting some health
yep.
back.
They're still going to get something. Yes, exactly. I like this because even between like I would say like maybe like a Heatran angle could be smart to come in. But Cerulege, I mean between Cerulege and Heatran, they're both forcing the same thing, which is Stoys. And I
Yeah.
think for either angle between like Banded Sneak or even Grid angle, hoping they're not Scarf Pull, like you need that Stoys chip down. So both are forcing that chip. I wouldn't be surprised if Korvax sacks Inte here. I think that's not a bad angle. Well, if they're Scarf Pull, then I think sacking Inte is not a bad angle. If they're not Scarf Pull, then they probably would keep it because that's their way of mitigating Greninja. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think a Blastoise is either Blastoise coming in or Corvi is being sacked.
Yeah, I think depending on what they do here, it might give Stormbound a little bit of information. Um, because I think if I would see an Entei sack, then that would kind of confirm my suspicions of pulping Scarf. If they go Blastoise, then maybe that's still in the air. But I think in terms of what either comes in, I think Stormbound still is to make the same play, which I think is Bitterblade. I think Bitterblade is always their best play here.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
They need that extra HP.
Yep. And even then, I think it's their best middle ground here. Because, I mean, it did a lot of damage to Crook. It might honestly 2 KO stories at this point. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's probably invested in more of the special defense side, so I wouldn't be that surprised
Yeah.
if that took 50% from Bitterblade. Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
I, I don't know.
Oh,
That's definitely
okay.
Scarf Bolt. That's got to be Scarf Bolt.
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely Scarf Pole. So, I mean, I guess on this eight, I mean, oh, this is rough. I think, do they sack? This is weird. Um, because I think on Stormbound's in, they have to make a sack. Now, I think they have to evaluate which sack is better. Because I think personally, like, this is definitely Scarf Pole, meaning that he tries getting 2 KO'd, I believe, after rocks at this point with Shadow Ball.
Yeah.
Um,
Orange is making a
so
very fair point in the chat, though. It can be Sucker Punch Bolt, if not Scarf.
yeah, it could be Sucker Punch, but I think like prep wise overall, I just think Scarf makes the most sense because if they don't bring Scarf Pole, their only means of pressuring prep wise, like Battle Bond Grin is E Speed Inte, which is valid. But I like the Scarf Pole angle as well, just to double down on that potential Battle Bond Grin too. But yeah, it could definitely be Sucker Punch Pole for sure.
Yeah, I know
Um,
in a logical standpoint I agree with you, and it's Scarf. But since it's Korvax, I'm not 100% sure.
oh yeah, correct. Yeah, I mean, honestly, with what you were telling me at the very beginning, that could definitely be a Sucker Punch. That could be a Sucker
Yeah.
Punch Pole.
They are very, very experimental, but it always ends up working. So I don't know. I wouldn't bet on Scarf, but I understand that it's likely Scarf, yeah.
Yeah, it could be Sucker. I would admittedly, well, I would be surprised, but then, like, after I'm like, it's Korvax. So, at the end, like, I think it's possible from Korvax. But yeah, it could definitely be a Sucker Punch Pull Eagle. It would kind of surprise me a little bit because I think if they were Sucker Punch, then, well, I guess at the start they could have bluffed Scarf, so I guess the Shuttle Ball's okay. But, like, I would be confused. Okay, so they're not
Okay.
Sucker Punch. That thing
It's
just died.
Scarf, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Scarf and it has a fair amount of bulk.
Well, wait a minute. So I don't see how Stormbound wins this now, actually, now that I think of it. Um because I mean what? They're Scarf. They go Heatran. Heatran's the only thing that lives a hit. And they're taking that Shadow Ball and then they're dying. And then they have to lock into a move. And like Stories can come in on Flamethrower. Corv could come in on Earth Power lock in or Dragon Pulse lock in because I think he tried kept Dragon Pulse. Um, so and then as long as they keep Inte in the back, E Speed always revenges Gren. So I'm struggling to see a way that Stormbound can come back from this, unfortunately.
Yeah, if not for Blastoise, Itran would be in a fairly
In
decent
a good
position.
spot, yes, yes, yes. Because if the Stoies was weakened a little bit more, Flamethrower is actually a great middle ground play now. Even that Inte's chipped down and Corv doesn't like it. Ogre would be in range. Yeah, like
It doesn't.
revenge like Heatran angle would do it.
Yeah, Itran doesn't care about taking an extreme speed. So, but that Blastoise is 50%,
Yeah,
exactly 50%.
that Blastoise is too high health. I mean, I think on Korvax's end, they can always click flip turn here. That's not it covers for if they want to go grin and save this because then they get the free into Entei and always click E speed and secure their win that way. I think if I'm Stormbound, then I mean, I think you have to go grin and like hope that they misplay, maybe click spin, maybe things like that. But I think if they stay in with Heatran here, they always lose. So I think it's just a matter of playing for human error. Because it's definitely not looking good for Stormbound at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see how Stormbound can turn this around. Korvax would have to misplay like 3 times in a row.
Like, yeah.
Because even if Entei comes face to face with Greninja again, and Heatran switches into an extreme speed, he can switch into an Earth Power if Korvax calls it correctly. So
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's why Gen 9 is such a I don't like Gen 9. Gen 9 is like it's crazy because I think in the very beginning I think it was very back and forth. I think Stormbound had a really good advantageous position most of the game. And then it was just like one play. And then one play, everything just goes completely left. Like it's oh man, Gen 9. Oh, Gen 9. But that was a great game, honestly. I
that
think there were a lot of highs on both sides. Like I think Korvax making that Sacred Fire play into stopping Tantrum was really smart. Because on their end they can always stopping Tantrum it if they are flash fire that next turn and they always live a hit. So that was really smart on Korvax's end. And then even with Stormbound, like getting those hazards up with Overquill, using the passivity of Korvax's Corviknight and things like that to their advantage, like and even Sylveon too, the Sylveon angle forcing switches, they were both in an advantageous spot in multiple turns, but I mean, it just came down to a couple plays. And it pretty like like lack of RNG, honestly. Like I think the Ogerpon corner critting the Overquill, I think long term didn't really matter because Storm was able to pivot around and get that back into speed. And then I think the Sylveon crit angle there, I don't think it mattered too because of the double power boost. So pretty
was it.
lacking an RNG game.
Yeah,
Very much a clean,
yeah, very clean
clean,
game.
very clean Korvax game. Yeah. GG's to both people. Making it to finals is not easy. It is.
They came a
It's
long
not,
way, a long
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
This is the finals
So,
amongst the 4 divisions that play Showdown.
yep.
So they came a long way. I just invited them to come in for an interview. Stormbound said they would come in a minute. I
I
don't
need
know.
Korvax. I need Korvax. I need Korvax. The first question I'm gonna ask. Well, hey, congratulations. What's the knockoff? I need to know.
I need to know why you hit knockout.
I need to know. Oh my god, please tell me. Please tell me. I'm itching. I'm itching for it.
But yeah, I told you, Korvax, man, that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. We are used to how to say a convention of how to play this game and what could work and what couldn't based on results. We're not making stuff up, but they see it differently. I don't know how to explain it to you, but they do things their own way and they get it.
And it worked. Hey, listen, like that's like people like I'm not really a big fan of like power rankings, for example, because
Yeah,
people being subjective about people's teams and how they prepare them, I think is a little bit lackluster because you can say a team is bad, but if the person pilots it well, like then to them it's a great team.
yeah,
Like, and there's a lot of subjectivity when it comes to that. So, and also, Pokemon is not a one-player game; it's a two-player game. So, yeah, in theory, you could bring like a sort of like down team, but it kind of also relies on your opponent as well. So, if your opponent is not really playing great either, then I mean, is it really bad? Like, you won the game. So, like, honestly, I love Korvac's creativity, and it works well for him.
Yeah,
So, you know,
it
there's
totally
not really
does.
much to say there.
From
But
what I've
I think
seen,
Stormbound played well as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Starbound is here with us.
Oh, hello.
Hi, hi guys.
Hello, congratulations on
Man,
getting to finals. That was an amazing
what a
game.
game.
Thank you.
What a game.
It was a fun game.
What a game.
I knew it was gonna be a tough one, man. Korvax is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I had fun though.
Yeah, no, it looked, I mean, it was very back and forth. Like, I thought, honestly, like, I thought in the beginning you definitely had the game 100%. Like, when I looked at the 616, I was like, this is my first time commenting. So I don't know how I really want to take this. But I'm looking at Tusk and I'm looking at Tusk, and then Luis points out Gren, and I'm like, oh, holy crap. I didn't even look at Gren. I just looked at Tusk. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, man, this is looking dire. But, hey, that goes to show, like, matchups are not always 50-50, and how an opponent plays and how people play and their prep can really influence how things go. Like, honestly. Like,
And I think
we played great.
like it's easy to see the 6-on-6 and be like, oh shit, this Pokemon looks so good here,
Right.
without really considering the things that didn't come. Like
Right.
Tusk looks great. If offensive Tusk maybe looks great in this matchup, but there are so many mons on his team that just didn't really let me bring that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like the Uxie angle, like I think like in the beginning, I also pointed out, I was like, I'm surprised like no Uxie, because I
Yuxi
mean,
rolled me in mocks.
Yeah, like
rolled me.
I definitely, but from Korvax's side, like you could look at the rosters and be like, I'm not going to bring Uxie because that can potentially mean aggro Sterilage. That's maybe an overquote pivot every time, and that's a free hazard. Or, I mean, even like Grin angle too. Like if they make a slow pivot, now Grin comes in. Like on their side, it might not look great, but that's why prep is like so. It's a lot more not difficult, but a lot more complex than people give it credit for sure.
I think this game had a lot of depth and complexity in general. Every
100%.
turn was like 4 different plays that could be made.
Yeah.
Great game. GG's, man.
Korvax is here,
Hi,
everyone.
people. Hello, everyone.
Congratulations.
I need to know.
Thank
I have
you.
a
It's a
question.
very tough match.
I have a question for you, Korvax.
For sure.
So
First, let me apologize myself because my English is very bad. So
no, you're good.
Yeah, you're totally fine.
What was my Okay. Turn 8. Turn 8. It was Crook versus Sterilage. And
okay.
you clicked knockoff. Was there were you thinking of like an air balloon Heatran angle? Like I looked at it, or no, it was turn 9 or turn 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever that is. I was like Earthquake easy. And then you reveal knockoff, and I was like, wait, okay, he's thinking of something that I don't see. So is there like a hidden angle that you saw with that knockoff player where you're just like, knockoff?
Yes, for sure. I really wanted the knockoff on the Sylveon because the Sylveon with leftovers and possible protect will stall my team for a long time. So I needed that knockoff or a burn for my ante.
There it is, Luis. There it is.
There it is. The angle we were not seeing.
The angle we did not see.
Yeah.
The damage on Tusk didn't matter at all because I have Grass Knot and I have other ways to deal with it, even if it is energy boost energy. Because my put is a scarf and it has Dracometer. So in the worst scenario, I still can deal with the Tusk.
I see.
Yeah, as revealed with the grass dot there too, which was great prep.
Yeah, and that Sylveon proved to be very, very annoying for Korvax's team.
Annoying.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. Like,
Yeah. Honestly, it came in and it was annoying every time it came in, and it was annoying every time it went out.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like,
And it
like,
was very
pull
scary.
yarn, double wish, baton pass wish. Like it did something every time it entered the field. So yeah, 100%. That was a great game.
Well, it was a good journey to the LGA final, and I had excellent battles. Unfortunately, I could use all my options, my team offers, but I made the most of my Pokemon I chose, and I had a lot of fun, guys.
You played
Good.
some amazing games, let me tell you.
I would like to bring the Choice Smash Blastoise or the Choice Scarf Blastoise with water spouts, or these things, or the Gravity Wigglytuff or Tricky Hole Uxie, but it's okay.
maybe some other day. maybe
Yes,
Maybe
yes,
another
okay.
league.
maybe maybe next
Maybe
season.
next season.
Next season. Next season sounds
Yes,
good.
maybe.
Maybe
Who
next
knows?
season.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was great.
That was
Great
great.
game. Very clean game from both of you. Nothing really outlandish. Like, you guys both played well. You guys both played to your outs, and yeah, like that was great.
I think the best thing from Korvax, which was very low key, I don't know if you caught that, was the lead seed on.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
At first, I was like, okay, I see it, but don't. And then later on, I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I warned Jerry that Korvax can bring some creative sets. So when we saw that lead seed, I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I was like,
Yeah, but the lead seat was majority for the Steroid. So if it has Toxash, I can just do lead seed and doesn't active the weak armor.
Weak armor.
weak
Yeah.
armor.
That's smart.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, it gets rid of the focus session and doesn't activate the weak armor. Yeah. That's very
No, but
smart.
it really
It's
pushes
because I
the
have
overcoat.
Grass Knot on Crocodile and Erupa.
Yeah, I if I was watching this replay with like my friend Jay Ricky, like my friend Quinn, like we would have saw Grass Knot, we would have been like, alright. But like we would have saw Lead Ogre, and like guarantee you we all would have like Spider-Man like me looking at each other like do you know what's going on? I don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on? I don't know. What's going on? But like later on, like it was great. Like I liked that. That was good. I think prep was great on both sides. I think plays are great. I just think like, Gen 9. one play, and it just, so
I think it was close in the end though. Like
no, for sure.
I
There are
kind of
definitely
choked.
angles, like when it was like 3-on-5, there were definitely angles where you could have won Storm.
Yeah, I made one play where I forgot about extreme speed actually.
Yeah.
So I kind of choked there.
And I have one question for both of you, one at a time.
Mhm.
For Stormbound,
Sure.
were you trying to bluff Flame Body on Etron? And for Korvax, did you thought it was Flame Body because of that play?
Yeah, I thought.
I think he, like from my point of view, I think he just didn't care if I was flash fire because he knew he wasn't taking enough damage from the flamethrower or whatever I did. I was blocking the flamethrower actually. He knew that. So he just sacred fire to cover the switch.
No, not when you switched then Etron on the Ogre upon U-turn.
On the ogre corner.
Yeah, were you trying to bluff Flame Body, or it was just the best option you thought at the time?
Oh no, I think that was my best option.
Okay. I thought you were
The bluff was just a plus.
okay. It was a okay. And Korvax, did you read Flame Body from that play like I did?
Yeah, I consider that option, that possibility, but even if it is funny body or not, my ante will deal with the Hitron and punish other plays, like for example the Sylveon. With the sacrifice on Sylveon 50% of burn, I can punish it and deal with it later. So yeah, I think it, but it doesn't matter too much to me.
Yeah, and we really liked your backup plan per se with the stomping tantrum after the flash fire miss.
Yeah, it's a very cool play.
That was very cool. That was very cool.
It has the same power of the Sacred Fire with stab, so it's very cool.
Yeah, so it's like we thought, Jared. It didn't matter the crit on Sylveon.
Yeah, no, yeah. I thought it was I thought the crit was like more of a matter per se on like maybe 50-50 switches, but I think ultimately that Sylveon was always gonna die there.
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, I definitely like by like turn like I wanna say maybe like 15-ish. Me and Luis were both like that's like some sort of offensive heat trend. Like I don't know what it is, but like that thing is definitely something. And like maybe like they're like F it. Like I think on that U-turn play, part of me was like you're saying F it. I need to get this thing in because I'm not providing enough offensive pressure without it. And I think you were like maybe trying to preserve how healthy it was, but like at some point you kind of just like yeah no I need to get this thing in now.
Yeah.
And
I
start
just
applying
didn't.
pressure.
I did not have opportunities to bring it out. It wasn't an opportunity thing. It was that I couldn't lock myself into any move to Scarf, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I couldn't lock myself into a fire move with Entei and Blasters being full health.
Mm-hmm.
He just had such easy ways to deal with it, so I needed those things weakened. And at that point, I think I realized that I need Heatran to be the thing to weaken them, so that maybe Cerulege or Greninja can win.
Mm-hmm.
The Ender was a great bring. I think it broke open the matchup, and I wasn't as prepared for it as I should have been.
Man, oh man, what a game I have witnessed. Man, I'm glad I woke up.
It was fun, right? It was
That
fun.
was yeah, no, that was a game.
That
That was
was
a
a
game.
game. So, does anybody would like to add something or ask a question? Something else?
Well, I would like to thank my friends at Atlas for their support and training with me and preparations. Ron, Jun, Adão, Kao, Charcoal, and many others. So thank you guys. And the next season, I pretend to play in the Wi-Fi division.
Oh
Oh, you
no!
want to do
No,
Wi-Fi?
no,
Oh,
no, no,
Maybe, I don't know, maybe.
no. We don't want you there. You can stay on Showdown. It's fine. We're good.
No, I mean no, you could do Wi-Fi. It's just Wi-Fi. Do you play a lot of Wi-Fi or?
I
Are
never played,
you?
but I have a lot of Pokemon, so I want to try.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
so
course.
yeah, okay. So the one thing I will say about Wi-Fi, I play like almost virtually almost only Wi-Fi. I play Showdown occasionally, but like I will say with Wi-Fi, like Wi-Fi is definitely a more like thinking on your feet setting. Like
Okay.
it's like no, like it might sound a little weird. But like when you go into Wi-Fi, you're gonna find moments where it's like 5 seconds left on the timer, and you're like,
Yeah,
I have
Okay.
3 plays and I can't find which one's the most optimal. So I'm just gonna click X button. Like that's
Just
gonna,
throw a
but
coin.
no, like that's like, but Wi-Fi's fun. Like I think you'll have a lot of fun on Wi-Fi if you do decide to do Wi-Fi next season.
yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I just transitioned from SD to Wi-Fi, and I can attest for that. It's way more on your feet. You don't have a lot of time to think plays over, and sometimes you're not 100% sure how much you've done. If it's a roll, if you can
Yes.
kill, but it's more exciting as well, and it's a
Yeah,
different thing. It's a different monster.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you get so lost too. Like, well, you can be like, you'll be so focused on your plays. Like, okay, what's the best middle ground play in this turn? How do I get the most offensive position? Then you'll start losing. Like, what's my in-game angle? Now I have to think about that. Like, it's so like it will test your. Yes, I have this angle. Yes, I have my first 3 turns thought out. Yes, I have my potential in-game, but how do I warp around this specific turn right here with Xmon in front of Xmon? Like it will honestly, I think going from Showdown to Wi-Fi for a little bit and going back to Showdown will I think make you a better Showdown player.
yeah.
Like
I
Okay.
agree. I totally
definitely,
agree. I totally agree.
definitely. because I think that angle is a lot less of, because I think Showdown's a lot better than Wi-Fi in the sense that I think Showdown has a lot more competition, because I think Showdown is so much about information, and because you have a lot more information in front of you, you can determine what is better for you. Wi-Fi, it's you have that info, but you don't really have it, so like you kind of have to, like, it's a memory game, but it's like not. It's so weird. But I think a lot of it, like, I'm saying all of this, but you're gonna experience it and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, this is what we did for sure. But no, Wi-Fi's fun. You should definitely do it. It's really fun.
Yeah, I was
really,
totally,
really
I was
Maybe
totally
I'll try.
joking. You're more than welcome on the Wi-Fi division. I was totally joking before.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Wi-Fi is insane. I will say that. Dragon Ball Wi-Fi is, and also and you won with Dragon Ball. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, we're Dragon Ball winning buddies. I had Pole, you had Pole.
Yeah. I can attest for that as well. Unfortunately,
I have Pole. You have Pole. Pole is crazy. Pole, golly.
All right. So if nobody has anything else to say, we'll end this stream. Well,
I'd like to give a couple shoutouts as well, because I've kind of
course. Go ahead.
Orange Intensity. He was in the playoffs as well. He helped me prep for this game. I really appreciate it. Hunter for helping me for basically all the playoffs. And Verity Division for making it all the way and owning this league. That's all. That's what I have.
All right. So
awesome.
Congratulations again, Korvax, for being the new
you,
Showdown champion, and Cherry for being the Wi-Fi champion as well. We got both champions on call today.
Hey,
oh my God.
Dragon Ball Twin. No, not too much. Not too much. Hey, man. Not too much.
And a little shout out for me and Stormbound. We also got there.
Oh yes. Listen, getting to finals is that sounds bad. Getting to finals is not easy. Like, especially in like leagues that are like you're doing really well and that are really long or feel like they're really long. Like, finals is not, honestly, like, winning finals is great, but being a runner up is like, I don't want to say better because you still lost, but like low key, like it's great. It's a great feeling. Like,
I just wanted to make playoffs, man.
Like, that's literally like the goal all the time. That's the starting goal. Like, long term, it's like, oh, I want to win the league, sure, but like you really just want to make the playoffs. And then once you make it to the playoffs, it's itty bitty goals from there. Okay, now I made it. Now I want to make it to quarters. Now I want to make it to semis. Oh, I made it to finals. I didn't expect that. I just wanted to make playoffs. So that was great. You guys both played well. Like, I think you both prepped well. You played well. Like, I don't think it was 4-0. I mean, it's a 4-0, but like I think you have to watch the game in order to see why it's a 4-0.
Yeah.
It was closer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was a 4-0, but could have easily been a 1-0 or a 2-0.
Like on the other side. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, good games. So, you guys did great.
With that, we end the league and the stream, and we hope you all enjoyed it. We enjoyed it very much and hope you're back for next season. Before that, we'll be giving news about the mid-season event soon enough. And
watch out for that.
Again, congratulations to our finalists. You've been great. And until we see you again, bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
It was great having me. Thank you.
It was great having you. Thank you.
Oh, man.